So I believe that Vincent and Kevin are twins. For more Bojack deep dives, subscribe to me on YouTube at Shania X Trotter. Now, I know a lot of people think that we see Vincent Adultman as a child because we're looking at it through Bojack's lens, and because Bojack views him as 2 or 3 kids in a trench coat, that's why he looks like that. But the episode where him and Princess Carolyn break up kind of debunks that theory entirely. Because for one, Bojack is not present during that scene where Vincent and Kevin are going back and forth, and she can't understand why, Vincent is acting this way and why they can't be in the same room together at the same exact time. So that can't be because of Bojack's perspective, because he's literally not there. This is something that Princess Carolyn is going through all on her own. On top of the fact, I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, that has to be his child. Like, Kevin just has to be his child. Because we did see, or Princess Carolyn saw Kevin walking with this woman, and he's obviously a child, whatever the case is. But again, that's debunked with the fact that he literally cannot show his face when we have this Kevin, in the same room. But the reason why I think that they're twins is because their freckle patterns are different. If you look closely, Vincent has 4 freckles on the right cheek and 3 on the left. Meanwhile, Kevin has 2 freckles on the right, while he has 3 freckles on the left. On top of the fact that he has different shirts, right? We have Kevin who has an orange shirt, and we have Vincent that has a black shirt on. And to make it even more obvious, while Kevin is going to and from the bathroom or just out of frame, we still have the bottom half of Vincent's body sitting on the couch or holding up the newspaper or whatever the case is. So there's another body in there. So I think that they're twins. I know Bojack said that there's 3 kids in the trench coat. I mean, I guess it could be 3, but I feel like the whole point that we get to meet Kevin and, have Vincent's body there is to show that there's 2 children in the trench coat. Now, I do still think that, Vincent is kind of like an allegory for like a man-child, right? And on top of the fact that, Princess Caroline, she has Carolyn, she has a savior complex. She's a workaholic. And she's always mothering all of her clients and all the people around her. So I do feel like, this is to show that she does that so often, she literally cannot tell when she's dealing with a child. On top of the fact that, this is Vincent Adultman, like it's in the name, just like Bojack Horseman, right? So he's going to appear as an adult, just like how Bojack appears as a horse, like he is a horse. It's in the name. And when she's breaking up with him, she's just like, I thought I wanted an adult, right? But I'm really a child at heart. So it made sense that after being done dealing with Bojack, right, she's trying to upgrade to somebody who's more of an adult, but she doesn't actually upgrade. Instead, she just gets somebody with the name Adultman. Because it seems like, oh, he's an adult. Oh, he, works with the stock market, and he's a businessman, and this, that, and the third. But he's obviously, clearly not an adult. And I think the reason that Bojack can spot this out quicker than anybody else is because he is a big man child, right? Because that is literally how he operates. So he's able to call bullshit really, really quickly. But I also think that it's a nod to the entertainment industry in its entirety, because we see time and time again, and we kind of see this with like Sextina Aquafina. We see this with like Sarah Lynn as well. With like the entertainment industry, how children are adultified very quickly, very easily, to where we know the industry is corrupt. We know that it's crooked to the sense where, if people are benefiting from this child being in this space, why not? Right? Nobody's going to bat an eye. And I feel like, yes, a child can be even cosplaying as an adult. And if it's not a problem to anybody, like, why not? What's the harm in that, right? Because all throughout the show, we have these adults that are acting like children anyway. Like, we have these adults that, are not acting their age anyway. And one of the reasons we see too is because, once they, reach a certain level to where they no longer have to grow anymore, they kind of like stop aging there with that arrested development. So of course these people, right, aren't going to really bat too much of an eye at this child that's clearly a child being in the same vicinity as them, which again for me is a little unsettling for Princess Carolyn, because she seemed like she got some sense, and she do, but with that savior complex, with her being a workaholic, with her having to even take care of her mother growing up, right, we see that that's so heavily ingrained with her, on top of her always wanting to be like a mother. That's so heavily ingrained in her to where she quite literally can't even see it when she's actually dating a child. which is weird. It's weird. And that's why I'm like, no, we do have to make the distinction though. These are two children, possibly three, but I think the whole point of seeing them together is to show that they're probably twins. And she cannot see that. That's problematic. It's absolutely problematic, and it's not too far off with Bojack Horseman, the show itself, because we see problematic plot lines where it's like, oh, we have the Penny and Bojack thing that happened. Yeah. We had Sextina Aquafina. We had, even just the whole plot line of Sarah Lynn. Like, we see that they're not afraid to show, like, oh, yeah, like, this can happen, too. Because you got too much shit going on. You're not clear-headed, and you're not being for real. Like, let's be so for real right now. You know something's off. You should have been knew something's off. But then again, Princess Carolyn was dealing with Bojack for years, decades, actually. And she knew things were off. She knew that this wasn't healthy. She knew how he was acting. And so it has a lot to even deal, with herself as well. But yeah, these are two people. He's not actually an adult. Like, these are two people, most likely twins. And yeah, I'm like, Bojack wasn't even there during that scene for it to be, oh, we're looking at it through his lens. No, those were children.